this is Jess Markowitz. I am your star director with Sensi, and today is April 21st. These can be put in the files. That shouldn't take too long. And then, 1 second. What do I want you to work on? So one of the hard things about building your business, when you get to a point that you have somebody to help you, sometimes you don't know what you can have them help you with because you're so used to doing it yourself. So that's one of the good dilemmas of growing your business. So just bear with me, and we will talk about what we're going to talk about in just a second. Okay, so downstairs in the extra bedroom, there's a bunch of like warmers and stuff and products. If you could, there's a bin with like room sprays and things like that. If you can just make a list of what's there, that would be helpful. And then that other bin that has like scent packs in it, there's like a basket in there. If you can also make a list of what's in there too. Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about why it tends to be lonely at the top as you grow yourself as a person and your business. This is a subject that pretty much comes up all the time. The more successful you get, the higher you go in your business, and you start to feel like, man, why am I losing all these friends? Why do people, not seem to be happy for me? They kind of go the other direction instead of being excited for you that you're achieving all these goals and you're growing yourself as a person, you're financially growing, you're not you're not in debt anymore. Maybe, hopefully that's the goal of joining, extra income and getting a business on the side. And for some reason, people that you care about, that your friends, your family, the people that you normally interact with, that you would think would be the most excited for you and the most supportive for you, are not that way. It's hard, right? It's very confusing. But I wanted to talk to you guys about why that happens. So have you ever heard of the expression that I like you where you are? Well, it's because they like you where you are because they like you where you are because you're at the same place that they are normally. That's why friends and family tend to gravitate toward each other, is because you have the same financial issues, you have the same husband problems, you have the same kid problems. And that's why friends tend to become friends, that they have things in common. And unfortunately, the higher percentage of these relationships get built off of negative things that they're actually connected with. So you have somebody to lean on and cry to and complain to, unfortunately. We know that negativity is more powerful than positivity. It takes 10 positive thoughts or affirmations to overcome one negative thought or thing that actually happens, circumstances in your life. And so knowing that, it's just easier to be negative, right? It's easier to surround yourself with people with the same problems so you can feel like you're normal, and you just tend to deal with those issues instead of figuring out ways to actually get out of those issues or circumstances, because everybody else is there. So, hey, there's nothing wrong. I'll just deal with it like they are, right? I'm sure you can relate. You've been there. We've all been there. And it is easier to be there and to stay in that place. It's simpler because that old expression, growing pains, there's a reason why it's painful as you grow, because the emotional growth and is so much more challenging because you tend to not have the support that you used to have, because there's not as many people like you out there that are willing to endure the pain in order to get yourself out of that circumstance on a mental standpoint as well as a financial, which usually is the base to a lot of family problems, is financial issues. I hear people tell me all the time, the only time my husband and I fight is when it comes to financial. It's more common than you think. It's because you both don't have the answer. And so because that's the closest person to you, you tend to start getting upset with each other and start blaming each other, like, well, you shouldn't have bought that, and you shouldn't have went there, and this and that. And it's always easier to point the finger at somebody else, right? Well, that's why this type of business, the more successful you become, or it doesn't matter what business you're in, it just, whatever you're becoming successful in, the happier you become. Nobody can you start to realize that you are your success, your actions, and you're not pointing the fingers at other people of why you're not successful. But then again, the average person does point fingers at why their life is not the way it needs to be or they would like it to be. It's easier to say, well, it's because of my husband that I am not successful with Scentsy. It's because he's not supportive. It's because he's not helping me. And this all sounds familiar. As leaders, we hear that all the time, right? Sometimes we even say it ourselves. And when it boils down, it's up to us, right? We made the choice to go on this journey of self-discovery and self-growth and financial growth. And yes, is it helpful when your spouse is supporting you along that journey and saying, hey, babe, what can I do to help? Absolutely. But unfortunately, you're not always going to have that. One, it's not because they don't love you and they don't want to help you, but they have their own journey they're on, which we hope they are, right? We're all individuals. We started out two different people, and then we decided to join together. And but the beauty of that is that we hope that those two individuals still keep their individuality. But we find that, unfortunately, a lot of couples don't. They start to mold into each other and they start to lose their independence, right? And that's where a lot of frustration and animosity starts to be built in a marriage. Well, let's get back to the friends. Why do the success and self-growth start to hurt your friendships with people? Well, let's go back to I like you where you're at. Well, it's because they like themselves where they're at, or they're too scared to push themselves out of their comfort zone and do the things that are hard in order to make changes. Again, there's another quote. They say, you can't get new results by doing the same actions, right? So when they see you doing those actions that are hard, that are scary, it makes them uncomfortable. And so what's happening is it's basically flipping the mirror to mirror them, and then what you're doing with your life is showing them what they're not doing with their life, and they're not ready or willing to do. So they start to develop possibly a jealousy and resent you for your success. So therefore, you no longer have anything in common, right? So they start possibly blaming you for, you not being a good friend anymore because you've got too much to do and your mind is everywhere else but their friendship. Well, what they're saying is that I got nothing in common with you anymore. And unfortunately, the underlining is I'm a little jealous that you've got a lot more going on than I do. Is that true in all cases? No. So we don't want to just assume that your friendships are being broken because they're jealous. It's important. If there's a relationship that is not as strong as it was before you started becoming successful and growing yourself as a person, then that relationship is obviously important enough to ask why that connection has been broken. Talk to these people. You'll actually be surprised how many people will come clean and say, this is just not, I just don't know what to say to you anymore. I really don't have anything in common with you anymore. And you'll be also surprised that it just takes you to come to them and say, well, let me share what I'm learning with you. So hopefully you can implement that into your life. Now, will that possibly inspire them to join you on this journey? Absolutely. There's a lot of people on this journey with me that's why they are, because it went that route of we started to separate and didn't have anything in common, but that relationship was important enough to me to say, hey, instead of saying, well, if you're not happy for me, oh, well, peace out. It said, no, this person's important to me, so let me talk to them. Let me see where this disconnection has developed. And we found that they were actually interested in learning what I was learning. So I was able to share that with them. And they decided, hey, if Scentsy's what got you on this journey of self-improvement and financial improvement and all of this fun stuff, then hey, let's do it. I'm all in. Let teach me what you know. But then there's some people that unfortunately aren't ready, nor will they ever be, unfortunately, be ready for change. And that's where that expression, and I know I'm using a lot of expressions, but they come from somewhere. It's not just, you know, blown out of, you know what. There's really content and significance to these expressions. That's where love them where they're at comes from. An acceptance of understanding that they just don't have the desire or drive to make changes. But here's something we also have to consider. Maybe they don't want changes. Maybe they are happy exactly where they're at. You may not understand, like, really, that's it? That's your life? That's all you want out of life? That may be what they want out of life, and they're living their dream. Just because it's not your dream and your goals and you think that there's so much more, as long as they can look you in the eye and they're your friend and they can say, look, Jess, I'm happy. This is really what I want. I'm living my life the way I want to. Then that is what our true end goal is, right? Is to see our friends and family fulfilled and happy. Now, I understand, believe me, out of anybody, we want Scentsy to be the one to inspire them and have them on this dream, but on this journey with you. But again, we have to accept this isn't for everybody. And with that being said, let's look at the people that are maybe joining you, and maybe it's not turning out the way they thought it was going to be, or the way they see it's turning out for you. Now, there's a ton of different reasons. One, they may not be willing to do the things you're willing to do, right? Hard things, sacrifice, change, all that stuff. Investment, time investment. You know, it's not, financial isn't only the investment, there's time involved with making changes. We know that in the long run, it will benefit, but some people aren't willing to invest that time in order for that later result. And that's their decision and their choice. That's okay, or it should be okay with you, because in the end, it's their life, right? But then again, let's go back to the people that are making you feel bad for what you've succeeded. You know, maybe they joined and they see you accomplishing things because of their small successes. Let me use an example of incentive trips. Incentive trips are structured to teach us what we need to be doing constantly in our journey, no matter how many cycles that you're with the business, years, months, whatever. It's teaching you the steps and the requirements of what we need to do consistently in our journey to build a strong foundation to a business. But the beauty of an incentive trip is that it's giving us bonuses and incentives to do those things. So before we actually have a result, we have something like we have a carrot that's dangling in front of us that if I do this, this is what I'm going to get for it. That's human nature, right? We need some type of visual or something tangible to strive for. Now, so some of these people we're bringing on during the incentive trip, and because they're promoting or achieving this, we're getting points for our goals for that incentive, right? Now, they may get to a point of a roadblock that they're not promoting any longer. They're not excited anymore. They're not willing to do those steps anymore. Now, what happens sometimes, it's maybe already happened in your career. They start to look at you as, oh, you achieved that because of me, right? They feel a sense of entitlement that you owe them for what you've achieved. Let's think about that. Let's talk about that. Do you owe them anything other than the fact that you gave them the business opportunity to do whatever they want to do with this business? And the beauty, we have to remind ourselves, is they have the exact same opportunity to earn those trips, to promote, to earn the financial gain that you are. Whatever you're gaining is available to them too. But the difference is they're choosing not to utilize them. And so what happens? Because you have that relationship and that connection and that emotional relationship, they have to find somebody to point fingers at. And guess who that person's going to be? Right? Because their journey isn't going the way they anticipated. And it's not as simple as they anticipated. Now, that's why it's very important to make sure we're not indicating that if they do this, this, and this, they will get this result. That's why it's important to not say this is, disclaim what you're actually making, because every journey is different. You are doing different tasks. No matter how much you train your team, what you're doing, there's going to be a different delivery, a different time, and a different person or audience that they're delivering it to, right? So that response is going to be different. So we can't guarantee that if they do this, 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 and this, they will get the same result. Now, there's enough guarantee in the formula that we actually have laid out. For instance, for an incentive trip, if you sponsor, you help them promote to certified and beyond. If you sell, if you promote, these are all factors that have been proven that do build your business, but it's not proven or guaranteed. It is proven, but it isn't guaranteed that it'll work out the way your mind anticipates it to, unless you are consistently doing it to whatever level you would like to achieve. So that's when you hear me say almost every leadership conference that we have that there's two sides to everything. So there is a proven formula, but then on the other hand, we can't control how that response is going to happen. The only thing we can control is our consistency and us just trucking through, pushing through, and keep doing what we do. And utilizing that numbers game is that the more we do it, eventually there's going to be a success in those situations and in those efforts, right? So I ask you, no matter how much you give and share and try to coach and mentor your teams of what you're doing, how you achieved it, and give them, and you're giving them the tool, which is the opportunity, because remember, they have everything available that we do. Everything that we've learned and established in our businesses with Sensi is available to them. Now, it's up to them to choose to go above and beyond and reach out to other sources of growth opportunities that will enhance that success. Now, I know that I choose to go above and beyond and continue to educate myself above and beyond from Sensi's trainings, although Sensi's trainings are fantastic and free. I mean, free mentorship and guiding step by step. YouTube's free. The training center's free. But what I found is that the hardest part of this business is the self-discovery and acceptance of who we are. And so you will find the people that are fighting you and blaming you, putting pointing fingers of why I'm not being successful, or maybe even calling you selfish. Oh, because you want to go on that trip, you got me on board, or whatever, you sponsored me. Well, yeah. Doesn't everybody have personal goals? But the beauty is that you're giving them more gain opportunity than if you wrote them a check to go on the trip with you, because you are giving them one tool that has endless opportunity. But again, they're blaming you for it not being just on a silver platter with no actual effort involved to utilize to receive that bigger goal, right? But I want you to think about, if there's people in your life, especially friends and relatives that have an established relationship with you before you brought them on board, you have to think, they're your true friend? Do they truly have your best interest at heart? Or are they a bit jealous? Are they letting jealousy get in the way? Is that your fault? Instead of learning from you, saying, hey, my journey's not working out like yours is. Let's talk. Let's see what I may be not doing and what you are doing. Or maybe we can figure out some things that I'm doing that's right, that maybe I'm not doing it enough. instead of using you as a target punching bag of why their life isn't working and separating that relationship, instead bringing it back in and saying, hey, you are my friend. You are my sister, my aunt, my cousin, my whoever. And you've received great success with this. Let's talk. Because at this point, I'm not. But then again, when you think about it, if people aren't coming to you for that, you have to think, are they really looking to change? Probably not, right? And is that your fault? Is that your job to make them happy? Nope, right? And again, here's another kicker. They may actually be happy where they're at. But all the glory and Scentsy stars and, you know, big picture that you're showing them looks good, but they're not willing to do what it takes. And that's nobody's fault. They have to learn to accept within that, am I comfortable where I'm at? Or do I really want that bigger picture? Because if they want it, they can have it. They just have to work for it like you did, right? So I ask yourself, the people that you're losing in your career, that you feel lonely now, that you don't have this plethora of friends that you once had. Ask yourself, were you really that happy surrounding yourself with these people? What was the average content of the conversation when you were around these people? Was it positive? Was it getting you closer to your ultimate goals? Or was it helping you towards or further away from your goals? And then if you have, or was it pushing you closer to where you, to keep, excuse me, not closer, was it keeping you right where you are, where they are comfortable with you? People should lift you up and add to your life, even your spouse. Even your spouse. When you think about it, you were just fine without somebody, that person, right, before you knew they existed. So when they come into your life, who are they to change your plans of success and personal growth and a fantastically happy, amazing journey of life? They should be the ones adding to your life and emphasizing those goals, just like friends and family. Now, we can't choose our family, but we can choose how often and when we surround ourselves with those people. Because if they are a plague to you and bring you down and don't do anything but benefit, they don't benefit you in any way on an emotional level or bring value to your life as far as education or support, whatever, they don't make you feel loved inside. They make you feel guilty for everything that you do. Or maybe you have those family members that make you feel like everything you do is wrong. Why is that? It's different with everybody. So when I tell you guys this business is you're in the business of psychology, I don't mean that lightly. You're really going to start analyzing the human behaviors and relationships that are surrounding you. Now, one thing I will tell you, this all sounds pretty discouraging, right? Why should I be at the top? Why should I become successful? I'm going to lose everybody that I know. I will tell you that the more you grow yourself, you will have the opportunity to be surrounded by like-minded people. And quality over quantity is so much more fulfilling. I was just sharing with one of our other leaders today that our incentive trips are the most positive and fulfilling self-growth opportunities you could possibly endure and experience. Why? Because for the first time in your life, or at least mine, in my experience, for the first time in your life, you are going to be surrounded by people that have the same bigger vision like you. the positive mindset of that didn't work, let's get back up and let's try it again or try something different. So you're going to be surrounded by these people that think the same way you do, that dream the same way you do. Maybe not exactly, but you both are, and all these people are not looking to point fingers at other people of why their success is not existent. They're looking to lift you up. They're looking to I always say, suck the brains out of you. Like, I need to pick your brain. You all of a sudden feel valued. You feel like, wow, I have something to contribute. Because when I'm back home, all my people I surround myself tend to judge me in a negative way of why I'm so positive, why I'm so happy. Like, oh gosh, Jess, tone it down. You seem like you're so happy all the time. Really? You're gonna tell me to stop being happy? Okay, we really have to kind of stop and think about that. Is that the kind of people I want to surround myself with? That's why you want to strive to earn these incentive trips. Not only because it's going to grow your business, absolutely. What you'll find, the money will come. It will come, but that is not going to fulfill you. When your bills are paid and beyond, and you're doing the things you always dreamed, there has to be a deeper purpose. There has to be, because that's when you feel the loneliest. Is you feel like, okay, been there, done that. I paid my bills. I got the cars I want. I got the house I wanted. My kids are in sports. They can afford that. I can go to dinner whenever I want to. If I want to buy a new outfit, I can. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to budget for it. But now what? Right? Now what? Where we have to get to is it has to be beyond us. It starts out with us. It has to start out with you, because that you have to love yourself enough to believe that bigger purpose, you're here for a purpose. So you're the one that has to say, what's that there? What's my purpose for? So in order to gain the confidence of your purpose, you have to be able to achieving the different steps to get you closer to that purpose. And once you start to realize around you, wow, I am capable. I am worthy of this life that I keep dreaming up in my head. It's really not a dream. It's just a vision of where I'm going, right? But if these people around you are not understanding that, you will lose that vision. They will crash that vision. Unfortunately, that's the truth. So we have to be intentional. Be intentional with who you surround yourself with. And yeah, does it hurt when you have to intentionally separate yourself from people you truly love and you grown up, you consider them your friends? Yes, that'll happen. It hurts. But in the end, you are the only person that you can worry about. You are responsible for your life, nobody else. So if separating yourself and, they always say everything's fine in moderacy. So choose very limited time frames to submerge yourself into those situations. Family is family. You love them, right? Be very careful with the time that you put into that and the energy you put into that. Instead of submerging yourself into their surroundings all the time, which they tend to be bringing you down, choose very quality and minimal time, small quantities of time, but very quality of that time. So it'll be very hard to get a lot of negativity out of that small amount of time, because you haven't seen them in a while. So all you can do is talk about them, lift them up. You know that you are successful and living your life. They may not be. So transfer that energy into them by, highlighting what's going on in their life, highlighting their, big picture. Lift them up, make it about them. And guess what? Their encounters with you are going to be positive. And when you're not around as much, they're going to say, man, why every time I leave my visit with this person, why do I always feel so good about myself? Why do I feel inspired? Why do I feel just ready to conquer the world? But then they go back into their life and submerge themselves around all the negative people that they normally do. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to start missing that time with you and realize, wow, why do I cut that person down? Why don't I just join and be proud of them? And I'm going to tell you, that's what's happened in my life. Friends, even family. Because the consistency on your end of constant growth, they're watching whether they want to or not. And you may end up inspiring them in a way they never knew that they needed to be. Because they see you living the life that you are meant to live. They see you fulfilled. They see you happy. So those are called real friends. That's called family that truly does love you, because they will open their eyes eventually. You just may need to gauge and limit your time with them until they decide to develop and open their own eyes to what they're doing to you. Because if they truly love you and you are their true friend, they're going to say, wow, what kind of friend am I? To make them feel bad for growing and being happy, right? And the ones that don't come around, do you really need them in your life? Because it's 9 times out of 10, people like you, they have you in their life to make themselves feel good. Because you tend to be always lifting them up anyways. But the way they maintain their life is to bring you back down, push you back down. And that's what makes them feel better. And is that fair to you? Nope, it sure isn't. But I will tell you, those people that put an effort on doing this to you, that is a very strong energy. Negative energy is very strong. And you'll feel defeated sometimes. You'll feel like, I just can't do it. I can't keep up. It's easier to just be than putting effort into myself. So I've been talking to you for a while now, and we have to think in every situation, every relationship we have, why are they happier with you the way they know you? Why do they want you to stay where you are? It usually boils down to their own issue. Their own issue, not yours. So ask yourself, is this the type of people that I want to surround myself with? What type of quality people am I surrounding myself with? The more quality people, and when I say quality, I don't mean that people are not as valuable. Everybody's valuable, but meaning quality as in adding to your life. Are they adding to your life, or are they sucking the life out of you? Are they making you not feel good about something that you should be feeling good about? An accomplishment, a direction that you're going, a growth spurt, whatever that is. When you go on these incentive trips, you're submerged into this level of emotion because you're finally feeling a level of acceptance. The acceptance comes from commonality. When you once were common and you had a bunch of, you had in common with these people that were miserable, didn't have any direction, didn't know their purpose. And then all of a sudden you have a commonality with a bunch of people that have purpose, are happy, that love to serve other people, that are fulfilled within, and striving to continue to grow, striving to lift other people up like you. All of a sudden you have this, I would say, kind of like a baptismal experience of, oh my gosh, I'm where I need to be. I'm not the, I used this earlier with a friend of mine when we were talking. I'm not the ugly duckling anymore. I'm not the weirdo that's, trying to strive for the stars, unlike everybody else, that everybody makes me feel like I'm the crazy one in the family or in our circle of friends. I'm the weirdo, right? Because I've got goals and I'm striving. But now all of a sudden, I'm not the weirdo anymore. I'm just like them, which we all need to feel like, you know, you're not alone, right? So now all of a sudden, you're at the top and you're not alone. You're celebrating and growing with all these people that are just like you. Now, I will tell you, there's a point. If you're at the top with these amazing people and none of them are people that you've brought with you, you will feel a level of emptiness, because I've been there. I've been to Greece. I've earned the top 100, you know, consultants in the company, and felt like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing in the world, achievement that I can do. But none of my partners are here with me. I'm surrounded by amazing people, and that was very fulfilling. But then, wait a minute, nobody's on with me here that I've helped lock arms and got them here with me. So we also have to be growing our leaders with us, or developing leaders. And how that happens is when you continue to develop you. Because what I found when I felt like Tony Robbins says, once you hit the top, if you're alone, you feel like jumping off. That's the way I felt coming home from Greece. I felt like depressed. I didn't know why. I was like, wait a minute, this is the most exciting time of my life. Why do I feel like crawling under a rock? It's because I felt like I wasn't doing something right. I wasn't bringing people along with me. But I will tell you, the beautiful surprise of momentum and constant feeding into other people, all of you were there. I just didn't see it yet. You were developing. You were crawling up that wall like Orville Thompson's, you know, the what's his something? Joe, I know you're watching this. What's the frog analogy? Oh gosh, what's it called? You guys probably all know what I'm talking about. That you're climbing, you know, it's that frog climbing up the wall. Oh, the frog in a well. Frog in a well. And you're sitting here waiting for everybody. Come on, guys. It's so exciting up here. The sky is blue. The trees are green. It's amazing. The birds are tweeting. But nobody seems to be wanting to continue to crawl. They'll crawl a little bit and they fall back down. But the beauty was, when I thought I was up there and everybody was falling and nobody was wanting to climb, you guys were climbing. I just didn't see ya because I was so blinded of beating myself up. So this is all the self-discovery of saying, wait a minute, I was on the right path. I just was so used to nobody being there that I was saying I was focusing on what I wasn't doing right. When I was on the right path, it just was taking a little bit more time than I anticipated. Because guess what? You guys are all going on incentive trips, right? You're all promoting, you're all achieving your goals, you're all leaders, you're helping your teams. You guys, looking at what you guys are doing, I'm seeing it's amazing. Like, it's like that's where that proud mama comes in. Wow, you guys are all amazing leaders. I hope that I've contributed to that a little bit. Maybe you've watched some of the things I've done and it's helped you, make your journey a little bit easier. You can't make it simple, but you're going to have your own scrapes and bruises and falling on your face. But, I would like to think that a little bit has to do with, my example. And what you're doing is what's contributing to the example that your team is doing, and friends and family, whether they're on your team or not, you're assisting them with growth just by developing yourself. They're watching, I promise. So before you give up, before you think, is this for me? I don't want to lose all my friends because is this worth it? I'm going to tell you, The people that are your real, true friends are going to be there. They may be a little hurt in the beginning and push you away and, oh, you're not the person I thought you were and blah, 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 whatever. I don't have anything in common with you anymore. Let them have their time. Let them have their, emotional experience. They'll get over it. And guess what? They're going to be back in the saddle saying, you know what? Let's do this. Show me what you've learned. And jump on this journey with you. Whether they jump on the journey with your business or jump on this journey of life or both. But they'll be there. So just hang in there and keep doing what you're doing. The ones that weren't meant to be, that aren't your real friends, that really don't have your good intentions at heart, do you really need them? I know it sounds bad, but do you really need that in your life? Because you can't save everybody. They need to want it, not you want it more than them, as a friend and happiness in their own life. I hope I gave you a ton of food for thought today, and hopefully this inspires you to keep trucking, keep doing what you're doing, and learn from your ups and downs, and just know that whatever period in your journey is the most hard and tears and can I do this and oh this is oh I can't stand this anymore, that is the peak of your growth. That is when life is challenging you the most to see if you're going to break. Remember they say that, diamonds have, what's the expression? The most beautiful coal, it turns into a diamond with the most, I'm hacking this up. You know what I'm saying? That coal has the most pressure on it. And then, the most pressure, it turns into a diamond. That's what's happening. You are a diamond that's being crushed. And your life is challenging you to see, what you're going to turn out. Are you going to choose to stay that coal or let people turn you into coal? Or are you going to push through and fight through and bust out and become that diamond that you are and shine like you do? Only you can decide that. I'm here. Everybody else is here to support you in it. And we all have different journeys. So all we can do is share our personal experience. But in the end, as long as you have like-minded people surrounding you, you can get through anything. So don't let those negative people that have been in your life, your whole life, or recently stop you from shining like the diamond you are. Have a sensational day. Bye-bye.